Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. It seems great minds think alike. James Watt, who is one of the co-founders of Brewdog, has warned that Britain is in a tax death zone. He's accusing both the UK and Scottish governments of lacking a basic understanding of economics. I've been saying that for some time. And he's been saying exactly the same thing as I've said about taxes as well. It seems that when you know, you know. And if you don't know, you become Chancellor. Rachel Reeves has warned of, quote, a difficult budget. Of course it's difficult. Tying your shoelaces is difficult, isn't it, Rachel? But she's refused to rule out breaking the manifesto pledge. In fact, we know now she's definitely going to break it. Taxes aren't going up. And she's saying that we might be looking at another tax raising budget. 40 billion increase last year. It's going to be a 70 billion increase this year. And it's possibly going to be 90 to 100 billion next year because the woman hasn't got a clue what she's doing. But she keeps on telling people, oh, it's going to be focusing on reducing the national debt. Well, you're the one who's increased it with all that borrowing, so, it seems only right. She wants to reduce child poverty. Again, it's Labour that's increased it, so yeah, whatever. But now Shona Robertson, the Scottish, finance secretary, idiot in charge, claimed that if Reeves increased income tax, then Scotland would be forced to follow. And they're already higher than higher than the rest of Britain, so they'd be even higher then. And the reason being, an extra billion would be added to the deficit because of the way the funding works. Now, he is saying that it's pretty obvious that these two women between them haven't got a brain cell or an understanding of economics and don't understand that high taxation destroys economies. And if you truly want to raise more amounts of tax in value, you have to cut rates. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, not for him, for them. They've got to learn that. He obviously knows. Now, of course, he's a man who's been around. He's run his own company. He understands numbers. Why can't these two dim bints who seem to think that because they're women, they know all about money, when neither of them knows anything about anything? But he explained in the first year of learning about economics, students are taught about the Laffer curve. I remember that. I remember learning when I did economics. I've got a qualification in economics, more than Rachel Reeves, I believe, and optimal tax rates, and which maximises government income. And it argues for the Goldilocks solution. Not too low, but not too high. And there is a point where people are prepared to pay and they won't bother trying to avoid or evade. And this happens because people stop investing, stop realising assets, stop transactions and everything. If the tax is too high because they don't want to be punished on it. If the tax is very low, it just means that the government is missing out on tax. It would have if it just increased it a little bit without annoying people, basically. There is this area, the Goldilocks zone. But Rachel Reeves has never heard of the Laffer curve. And she's certainly never heard of common sense or of how to destroy an economy by overtaxing. Because if she'd have heard that, she wouldn't have done it. She doesn't understand about investment opportunities. She doesn't understand about having low cost and low bureaucratic regimes that would encourage people to come. And worst of all, of course, doesn't understand about low cost energy. But there we go. And so it's all going wrong. But, when business leaders are now saying exactly the same thing as I, dear viewer, have been saying to you for some time, who are you going to trust? Those of us who have worked at the pointy end, who've dealt with money our whole lives, who understand budgeting and costs and cost analysis, etc., or two very dim bints who haven't got a clue? When the choice is yours. Don't take my word for it, though. Let me know what you think. Thanks a lot. Bye.